A long-distance driver traveled 64 miles in one direction during a snowstorm. The return trip in rainy weather was accomplished at double the speed, dangerous, and took 2 hours less time. Find the speed going. Okay, so we know that we have to use this formula and we have to memorize it. Distance equals rate times time. What I like to do is create a table to organize my information in. Distance, rate, and time are my column headers, and the two situations, the trucker going and the trucker coming back, are the situations for my rows. Now, my rate, that is what I'm trying to find, that bolded R, little r. So I know that going and coming back, he's going the same distance, 64 miles. And I'm going to say the time it takes him to go is called T. Now coming, we know that it's when he comes home, he's going to go twice the rate, or 2R, and he's going to take 2 hours less, or T minus 2. Okay, so we have distance equals rate times time. So we have 64's distance equals RT. And then down here we have 64 equals, and then the rate in this case is 2R, and the time is T minus 2. Now what we want to find is R, so we want to get rid of this T down here so we can solve for R. So what we're going to do is change this equation so that we get the T by itself. And we're going to do that by dividing both sides of the equation by R, actually, not T. We can isolate T because you see the R's cancel and we have T by itself equals 64 over R. What we can then do is, instead of having this T here, we're going to substitute 64 over R in it. So our new equation is 64 equals 2R times 64 over R minus 2, because T equals 64 over R. So let's carry that out over here, give us a little more room. 64 equals 2R times 64 over R. We're distributing the 2R times this, and then minus the 2R times 2. Now when you look at these, you see that you have a couple of whole numbers times a fraction, so we're going to change the 2R to a fraction, making it 2R over 1. And when you multiply two fractions together, what you're doing is you're multiplying the numerators and the denominators. But the best thing is to first cancel, reduce where you can, and we can cancel these R's. Now we have 2 times 64 over 1, which is just 2 times 64. So that leaves us with 64 equals 128. 2 times 64 is 128, minus 2 times 2 is 4, and then the R. Now we just need to solve for that 4R, so we're going to add 4R to both sides. I like to get it to be positive. So if we add 4R, we get 64 plus 4R equals 128. And now we subtract 64 from both sides. We're going to go over here to continue, and we get 4R equals 128 minus 64. Well, 64 is 128 minus 64. So then we divide both sides by 4, and we get R equals 16. So we know now the speed that they're asking for, it's 16. That's the speed going. The speed coming back is going to be 32. And you can calculate all the other things, but all you need right now is the R for speed.